As you know, I only stand here once a year to speak, and it's not really what is me. This is not me, because I'm not the one who wants to be telling people things and whatever. And about a month ago, the Lord, I got up one morning and I was in the kitchen and Kenneth came through and I said, I've got a message for the church. I know exactly what I'm going to speak about. I said to him, but you need to take notes and remind me, because I am going to forget. Because if I write it down differently and I'll never know what I've actually written to remember. And I would say for the past year, my memory is not like it used to be. I do forget things. I don't remember little things that are, to me, just slip by and I don't remember. I only remember the big things. And he took down the notes, and the notes were on when you go shopping, okay? On how you shop and what you do, okay? So I'm going to be jumping from one thing to another, okay? This is not a message, because I'm not a preacher. I'm a storyteller. I tell you stories. And I'm going to take little stories that I've put together over the past year, and that is what you will hear today, okay? On that, with going to shop, it was in last year when I got this head. I had a problem with my head. I'm not sure if anybody still remembers it. I kept on having these black moments and I couldn't focus, and it just got worse and worse and worse. So I decided to have it checked. Well, the amazing thing is the doctor found I do have a brain. And that there was nothing actually wrong. They couldn't find a thing wrong. It still happens to me, but not as much. And I do feel, it actually happened when I was sitting there, but I think it's a stress-related. We've worked it out that it's stress-related. So I'm not focusing on that anymore. I don't talk about it. If people ask me, how's your head? I say, no, my head's great, because I'm not focusing on my head. And then it got to early January, and I decided I must do something about my weight. I need to lose weight. I want to be healthy. And in the 28 years Kenneth and I have been together, I've always been overweight. He's never ever told me, go on a diet or do gym or do this or do that. He's never done that. He accepted me the day he met me, and that was it. So 28 years later, I'm still overweight. About 3 or 4 years ago, I did go on a diet, and I did lose a lot of weight. But you know how it is. It slowly just all creeps back on again. And I decided that I was going to get my mind right, and I'm going to go on a diet. But I wasn't going to go on a diet that just lose the weight. I wanted to go on a way of life where I'm going to now be eating for the rest of my life. And I have a friend, Kathy. She spoke earlier on in the month. And we were talking, and she said she's never lost weight. She's never lost more than 1 kilo. She's a diabetic with tablets. And one day I decided to tell her, I said to her, why don't we go on a 7-day detox to Pretoria, and let's just see. It's a eating plan. And she said, that's great, let's go. I don't know if it was to get away from Chris, because he's a feeder. He just feeds. So we left on the 16th of April in this year, and off we went to Pretoria for 7 days. I was so motivated by those 7 days, and my head just became so focused on what I eat. And the reason I'm telling you this is because this is how we are as Christians. We see things that all look so nice, and we want them. They're all nicely packaged. We want it. Okay? But those things are not always good for us as individuals. Because I love sweets and cake, and I love good food. So I enjoy making nice things and cooking and that sort of thing. But I've realized one thing, that is not an important part of life. Okay? Because if you don't have it today, you can have it next week, next month. It's never going to go away. It's always going to be there. But until you cling on to the Lord, because He's there for us every single day. We've got to know that all those packages are all bad for us. Because they showed us a movie there that day while we were staying at this holiday retreat place where you couldn't get out, you couldn't eat anything, so you had your watermelon, and that was it. So you ate only what you were supposed to eat. They showed you a movie, and I'm sure some of you might have seen, it's called That Sugar Movie. When you go into a supermarket and you just see these rows and rows and rows, and there's all this beautiful packaging, and it's like you don't know what to grab onto because it's all looks so nice. And then they show you when you go into a supermarket where all that sugars and sugars and all these sauces and everything are mixed into it. Those rows are just empty. You see a box here and a box there. Because none of that stuff is good for us. Okay? And it's like an everyday life. We cling on to things in life that we feel are good for us, and they're not good for us. We need to cut them aside. And that goes, and I know it's hard because it's for people as well. Over the years, Kenneth and I have had a lot of acquaintances and friends. But you know what? We've realized they don't think like us. They don't do what we do. We're not in tune with them anymore because our way of thinking is totally different to their way of thinking. And after a while, you just drift away from them because you basically cut them off because it's not what you want in your life. You don't want to see the destruction in their lives, and it's just an ongoing thing because they think that is the only way. So basically, over the years, we've distanced ourselves from many, many people. We would rather be having friends that are in the same mind frame, the same way we think. And it's not that we're better. None of us are better than anybody else. But we need to understand, as long as we fall into the world side, we're never going to change. Because that is a nicer side. Those boxes, those packages are the best. Okay. We're always going to go back. So in all of this, Kenneth started a garden at home. So we got 4 patches. 1 patch has died. He blames it on the other guy that planted it. But the other 3, spinach is quite high. We went for a walk there the other day. So we got spinach. And in the morning he'll come and he breaks off 2 or 3 leaves. He washes it. And we eat it. And I thought to myself, what better is that than anything else? Because it's real. And this is how we must understand. Jesus is real. We just have to give it our all. He's putting his hand out to many of us, and we just want to, we'll hang in there, but but tomorrow and today and whatever. And this goes for the youngsters as well. we want what's out there, but we also want what the kingdom gives us. We've got to make a choice. And your choice is up to each and every one of us. It's not well, maybe it's good for them, but not good for me. No, it is good for all of us. And we need to do that. That was... Oh. So that was my weight journey. I have lost 21 kilos. And I've lost over 1 meter in centimeters. So, and it's been 4 months and a week, so I count the days. I'm on the scale every day because I've got another 12 to go. But, Kenneth is like very happy and he's encouraging and he says, whatever, if you stop now or what, but I'm not stopping, I'm going on. And 1 or 2 people ask me, am I ill? No, I'm not ill. No, I am looking at being healthy. This year I turned 64. Okay, so as the years go on, I want to be healthier. I'm not going to let him have the benefit of the older years. I'm going to be there to terrorize him still. So, because everybody knows Kenneth's 13 years younger than me, so, he's still fit and healthy and I've got to keep up. Okay, so then you look at it, you just move on and you do different things, but you got to look back and you got to think of your past and you got to think of, where did things are not always right when you walk with the Lord, There was a lady, I'm not going to point her out, she was in hospital, she's been very ill with her chest and that. And I look at her, in a message every day, she only spoke about the Lord. She was holding on to his faith, her faith that he will heal her. And I believe it will. If we give it our all, he will do amazing things. Sometimes we want to do things in our power, and Kenneth and I do it often. But we always know that we've got to go back to the basics, because the basics gives us our foundation of where we're going forward. And going forward is trusting the Lord, having faith in him, and knowing that he can do it all. Because when we were born, we were all knitted together in our mom's womb. And from that, we were given life. And from that life, what we do with it depends on us, because we have the choice. Nobody gives us the choice. So, and many people will say, yeah, but I didn't have much of a chance in life. No, we all have a chance. We all have a choice to change and to do something that is right. Okay, and it goes back to when I have to prepare a meal, or I have a lovely piece of chocolate cake, that's my favorite, and I can just look at it and say, you know what, in 5 months' time, I'm going to have you once a month. So that's the best part of it. Many times in life, we reject God's love because we feel it's too hard and it's too difficult, and we need to rather just do what we want to do. And yet sometimes it takes years and years for the Lord to work in our lives. But the day he works in our lives, we have such strength and such amazing things that happen that we can only give him the glory, because he can do it And we try and do it in our own strength, and we don't have that strength. We might have the mind to try and maneuver things, and that's, I'm going to speak to the youth. Sometimes they like to manipulate. But you know what? Deep down, the grown-ups know what you're doing. Okay. I think in life we all have a family member, or we all have a child, or we all have somebody that we pray for on a daily basis. I've got quite a big family, so my family starts from Australia with a troubled nephew, and it goes down to London to another nephew, to a wife and children, and more children in Australia. So it's quite a lot. So when I lay in bed at night and you start your prayer, and it's like you go from them to them to there, and then you jump, whatever. But we can only pray for them. The Lord has to change them. There's some point that they've all heard about Jesus. Whether they grasp it, or whether they take it, or whether they discard it, we know we've done our prayer. We've asked the Lord to move in their lives, to change them. So it's just one of those things. But I do know for myself, I have my one brother here today. The other one is not a church guy. He doesn't do the church thing. And I have my sister, I have my nieces here. And I want to say, for many years you pray for your family. And I've prayed for my brother, I pray for my sister, I pray for my other brother. And I've seen amazing, amazing miracles in their lives. I've seen my brother healed from cancer. And I'm going to give a testimony on, we actually spoke about it on Friday night, on my brother, when the last operation he went into. I might not have all the facts, but, they took him into theatre and they were going to do an operation on his bladder or his prostate, I'm not too sure. And he was lying there and he phoned. And he said, you need to come here because the doctor says I might not make it. And I said, what do you mean? I mean, this is like 7:45 in the morning, and the traffic to get to Joburg Gen is difficult. His daughter phones me, you better get here. They say that my dad might not make it. In the car, and off we go. We get there. Laurie's already... That's my brother at the back. He's already laying in the theatre. He's going to go in. So Kenneth goes in. He prays with him and whatever. So he says, no, the doctor says that if I have the operation, there's a possibility I can die. I said, but don't have it. No, but the doctor says I have to have it. So the doctor explains to us, he says, the type of cancer he has will be such a cruel death that it's better to have the operation. And we're trying to say, but he'll die in the operation. He says, yeah, but that would be a better death. I mean, how do you explain that? And the whole thing worked. And they took him to theatre. There was a lot of tears. I know my sister's sitting here, she doesn't know about it. Sandra doesn't know about it, Laurie. So we were a lot of tears, and and we waited, and 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and nobody came. And they brought a gurney out with this big green. And I said to Kenneth, please go look. Maybe they never told us. So Kenneth says, I said, please go look. So he lifts up, and it was somebody else. Because you know how your mind works. You were so that was going to be him. Well, after 4, 5, 6 hours, Kenneth walked into that theatre and he said, where's the recovery room? I want to see my brother-in-law. He says, oh no, He left 3 hours ago. He's gone down to high care. So we rush down to high care. We walk into the ward. He's sitting there. He says, "Damn it, man, I'm hungry." So, you know what? That is the Lord. Because we prayed and we asked the Lord, give him longer life, you know. So that is what he got. He still has his days. He's still not feeling well. I have a sister. She's still not feeling well. I have another brother who's had a kidney removed from cancer. He's had prostate cancer. I saw him yesterday. He's had a bad liver. He's had bladder cancer. He's still driving around, walking around. His chest is bad. But you know what? And I believe it's our prayers and their faith that gets them to this point. So, you know, today we just know we'll never give up praying for each other. Never give up praying for your family, for your friends, for whoever's around you, because it's our prayer that's going to change their lives. So, yeah, that's for my family. And I just want to... The other thing is you'll see 4 lilies here, 4 little lilies. I'm not much of a gardener. I don't really garden. But we had a pot plant and it had lilies in, and we had another one with lilies. And one day we were moving and they were very dead. And I said to the guy that works for us, Peter, I said, "Peter, please just move this over there. They're all dead." So he left it there. And I said, "Put it there under the tree." Well, when we went to look at our spinach, we walked past it and there were these 4 beautiful lilies. And this is what I said to Kenneth, and he agreed with me. When you are placed in the right place, you can grow. So they were put in the right place because the other pot is still standing there and they look terrible. They're all hanging. And the amazing thing is these don't get a lot of water, but they still grew like this. So, you know what? Today you might be sitting and thinking, I don't know if this is really my kind of place and if it's my kind of church and if this is where I want to be. You know, you've got to look at it. Am I growing here? Am I comfortable here? Am I hearing from the Lord here? Do I know I have a place here? Am I loved here? Do these people care about me? Do they only think about me when they see me on a Sunday? I don't know, Kenneth might, but I don't. Because during the week, he always comes home and he says to me, "Okay, I took a photo of the men so that I can check up who's not here." So, Rudy, your ears were burning for 2 weeks because I kept on moaning at him. He wasn't at church. So, yes. You've got to be comfortable. You've got to know this is where you are and this is my place. So today maybe you'll make a choice. But I hope we see you all next week. The other thing is we all need to get serious with the Lord at some stage. And we need to know that one day we're not going to be here forever. And the day we close our eyes, we want to be in a place where we are with our Heavenly Father. I don't know if you all know Michelle that was in the church, and Dean. Michelle's mom passed away this week. And I had a lot of time with her in that week. And we just spoke about things, and she just spoke about people that she'd forgiven in her life. She was a German lady, so she was quite a hard lady. And we just spoke about different things, and she realized that there was people in her lives that she needed to forgive, and she'd forgiven them, and she turned around and she said to me, "You know, I'm going to die." I said, "Yes." She says, "But I know where I'm going." She says, "And I actually feel happy about it." And that was very important. Because at 78, she was still young. She'd battled cancer for 8 years. She'd had both her breasts removed. And we've got to realize that there's never a time limit on when we might not be here, because it's a very short life. We might think 78 years, but she could have enjoyed another 20 years with her grandchildren. So we've got to realize, get serious with the Lord. Let Him know that you come in and that you will be in His house one day. Okay, the other thing, and the only other thing is, there's not always time. We always think tomorrow we'll do it, and maybe next week, and I'll just do it this time. But no, we need to do it immediately. We need to move with what the Lord wants and what Jesus wants from us today. I just want to say the other thing. You know, there's many people that have come into this church and they've just been part of us, and they've just grown with us, and we just love them dearly, and we know for a fact the more time we spend with people, the more you attach yourself to people. That is just a known fact in life. If you know someone and you get to know them more, you love them more, you want to be around them more. And that is, we've developed relationships with people, and we're grateful for that, for their love and their care towards us. And that appreciation that we had a few weeks ago, we were really, really blessed by it, for the love. And we've watched the DVD, and for the amazing things people have said, and for the youngsters that just, you know, are naughty, but we love you all. So we're just grateful for all of those things. And today I just want to say to my family, and that goes for Louise and Sharon and Megan and my brother Laurie, and for Sandra and Debbie and Kim and Tony and Antonia and Gabriella. Those are my immediate family here today. I love you all so dearly, and I pray for you, and I just want the best for you all. And I want to thank Helman, because Helman gives me encouragement daily. He's always there for me, and he's always telling me how much he loves me and how much he appreciates me, and you're very special. And to Kenneth, I just love you lots. And I'm done.